Welcome to Hemp Sister Nation, where you don't need a reservation. I said, Mama, hello, stand with open arms. Here to warn you with the one more time. Yeah, one more time, baby. Welcome to the nation. I said, welcome.
Good evening and welcome to the season opener of season 2.
Happy season 2, Hempy.
Happy season 2. So we're 20 episodes deep and starting off season 2. That's very deep.
Very deep.
With a friend of ours, we've gone back for, I don't even know, probably end of last year when we started talking to Josh.
I think so, yeah. It was definitely close.
Awesome guy, great story, great vision, awesome partners that he's doing all this with. They are in processing, and
right.
You know, we don't get to talk to many people who are doing lab work correctly. So
no, what a treat for everybody for our grand opener. We're going through a process of how a product ends up in your bottle with quality control in place.
Yes, yes. So it is our pleasure to introduce Josh Siegel from Hemp Nectar.
Yes,
welcome. The beautiful state of Colorado.
Oh, one of my other.
Hey.
Hey.
How you doing, Josh?
Doing great, ladies. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you for being here. We greatly appreciate your time.
Absolutely. I couldn't think of two better ladies to be spending this hour with. So thanks again.
You're awesome. You. We appreciate that.
We were just telling our listeners and our viewers what a pleasure this is going to be to talk to someone in the industry that is absolutely doing things correctly. So thank you.
Yeah, no, and I could not agree with that more. And, you know, I always like to say in business, you got to have a why, right? Why you do things. And for me, there's a why. And my why in cannabis is quite easy. I believe so much in the nutrients of this wonderful plant. And I love the term skin in the game. You know, if you're in business and you've got skin in the game, proof's in the pudding. And for me, and just kind of a quick intro of myself, I started a recruiting company, Premier on Board, about 12 years ago. So I've just always kind of had this knack of, you know, identifying bullshit. And as we all know, there's a ton of bullshit in this industry. And,
oh my God, that's a skill set you could have.
What are you talking about?
So I got a pretty good bullshit reader. And I was just kind of, you know, really blindsided in 2016 with stage 4 cancer. You know, after being told by my family doctor that I had food poisoning for, you know, 3 different doctor's visits, and thank God I listened to my wife of going to get another opinion. And, you know, it's one of those kind of aha moments where you're in an ER room and, you know, you got the doctors come out with their pad of paper and they point at a screen and they're telling you there's a giant tumor in your stomach, and you're like, is this real? Is this really me? Is this happening? And,
my God,
you know, reality quickly set in. And, you know, kind of unique is I just had moved from Colorado to Texas. And if we know anything about Texas, they're probably the most anti-cannabis state in the country.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
So things are changing a little bit finally now, but, you know, social media, my wife puts it out there, hey, pray for my husband. He just got diagnosed with cancer. And, you know, if anyone has any ideas on things to think about or benefit, you know, we're all ears. And I actually had a friend of mine from high school reach out to me and tell me about Rick Simpson oil.
Wow.
Never even heard of CBD or RSO. And he says, Josh, I'm sending you a YouTube video. I want you to watch this. But I'm actually going to send you a month of dosages in the mail. And I just want you to start using this. And, and to this day, I'm blessed. I'm blessed that circumstance happened. I know people typically wouldn't say they're blessed to have had cancer, but I'm blessed to have had cancer. It has shaped me and turned me into the person I am today. And I went through this aggressive chemo session. It was 5.5 months. I used RSO during my entire chemo, and I'm here. I feel like I came out on the better end of this thing. And this is about 3 years ago. I go to my wife and our family, and I said, listen, I believe so much in what CBD not only did for me, but really what this can offer everybody. And I really felt a bottleneck in the industry was manufacturing and really quality control. And this industry's really, as we all know, it's just been just crazy. Like no regulations, no rules. It's like the wild, wild west, and it's just nothing I've ever dealt with before. And so we built a manufacturing facility about almost 3 years ago, and Hemp Nectar was born. Just utilizing my recruiting experience and hiring the right people, and our entire focus was on quality control. We got our facility certified by Perry Johnson, which is one of the top, food grain certification companies in the country out of Michigan, and we are officially a certified facility for all raw ingredients, which includes CBD distillate, CBD isolate. It also includes Delta 8 and water soluble. So really proud to say that we've got, I think we've kind of gone above and beyond to, really create a high quality product that people can feel confident.
Right. Well, with so much, non-regulation, as you pointed out, it's really, we've been in this for so long. It's really time to see people without that authority to start setting the standard, and then a community being held accountable to it. We all do that. We all, in the infancy of this, it's everybody kind of setting community standards, really. And now it's, again, we have people like yourself that went through these journeys that rely on something consistent and quality for health. And you can't do that without some type of oversight, whether it be internal or external, And
I want to make sure everyone understands, you talked about Rick Stimson oil, and that's going to be very new to some people. And what that is a full extract cannabis oil. So you're using that entire plant medicinally, and it has, we don't even know how many cannabinoids without test results in my face, but it's full panel, full spectrum, and you're utilizing that entire plant. Now, unfortunately, that's not a treatment you can get in every state right now because of the level of THC, but I'm really glad Josh brought that up because it is crucial that people understand how medicinal THC is. And that's why we need to fight for these laws and make sure we're all able to get the same medicine that you were able to get, Josh.
Yeah, and that's why, nothing against this whole, let's call it THC-free craze,
right.
But I think it's garbage. Any product that doesn't have THC Delta 9 in it, I don't think gives you all the true benefits you need. And that's why I'm a big fan of what full spectrum oil offers.
Yeah, agreed. And people are in a tough spot. I mean, you have so many people that are still getting drug tested. They might know what we're saying and agree with what they're saying, but won't take the chance on losing their job over a cannabinoid, and it doesn't matter how therapeutic that is, and that's sad, and we need to fight to change that.
No, and we're not in a space as an industry where we've isolated pretty much every cannabinoid we can, and we're really not in a space to have like a biological target and say, yes, this is the one that's going to use for this, which is why we always find ourselves in these full spectrum conversations, as far as how things work with each other for overall health. So when you're talking about like, I have a disease and I want to treat this disease, maybe science will eventually get us to a place where we can take a cannabinoid, a combination of cannabinoids at a certain dosage and make that effective for a broader range of people, but we're perpetually stuck in try a little bit, see how it works, try this kind of blend, see how it works. And there's no one method for that. We also see a lot of manufacturing, like enhancing products by isolating and adding isolates to bring up cannabinoid counts as well, and that's kind of a backdoory way.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Hemp Nectar, how long have you guys been with the new facility?
Yeah, so we've got a state-of-the-art facility. We're actually located about 30 minutes north of the Denver International Airport. And, I'll tell you, we settled on the location that we moved into for a couple of reasons. We actually love the fact that we're just kind of out in the farmland. We're just away from everybody. And then the building that we had that was designed was actually built to our specs. So it's really designed for us to have a vertically integration. And the west side of our building, I call that the dirty side. So we have a hemp dryer. So we're able to basically take that hemp, we're able to dry it, we're able to clean it, get the stems and the stalks out of there, and then from that point we can use our cryo extraction using ethanol, and we can then turn it into that beautiful crude oil, which, as we all know, is kind of that first step and that first stage in manufacturing. And then from there it actually goes to the east side of our facility, which is our certified side, and I call it the clean side. So on that side of the building, we in essence can take that crude oil and we can refine it, turn it into distillate. We have water soluble capabilities. We have a large chromatography machine, so we have the ability to separate minor cannabinoids or remove THC if for whatever reason why people do that, I don't know, but we have that ability. And then we actually have a strategic partnership with one of the largest FDA registered private label manufacturing facilities in the country. And we work with this group, and we directly or indirectly, I say we supply the country for finished products. And we're talking some large retailers, and really it's just a blessing that we've accomplished so much, and we all know this industry has not been easy. I would even say 9 out of every 10 companies have basically gone out of business in the last probably 12 to 18 months.
Right.
We all know the price of hemp has gone from $40 a pound to 40 cents a pound.
Right.
And it's just so unfortunate that a lot of this has happened. But, I really feel being a good business person, being the type of company that actually does what you say you're going to do, it just holds a lot of value. And really it's the relationships that we value more than anything. And I think at the end of the day, if you really focus on your clients and maintaining and growing those relationships, success is going to follow. And look at why we're all on the phone here. We do
absolutely, and you nailed it with your
people attract good people, right?
Right. 100%. Like if you don't have integrity, in my book, you're worthless. You could be a billionaire. I don't care what you're doing, but if you can't live by your word, it means nothing to me. I don't want the second conversation. I don't want anything. Like you've already showed your ass. I'm good.
And unfortunately, we can see how much the industry was lacking integrity when we look at what happened to our farmers now. We have people that have, had land for generations and generations and an opportunity to grow hemp as their state opened up to do it. And then the state's ignorance and guidance of what this would look like, that, how does a farmer understand supply chain here? What does the supply chain look like here? A lot of people, that's where I really feel the most, damage really is like with hemp.
And we really saw that in Wisconsin. I mean, it was devastating.
I mean, it's like all the pieces are kind of there, but not the right players, not the right kind of questions, not the right types of businesses. I couldn't even, how many conversations, like just acres and acres and acres of biomass just unsellable because there's no real brokerage type thing happening, high risk, and that sucks because obviously in the supply chain of things, that's, the important part, which is smart of you in this vertical integration operation, controlling, the raw material, have better control over consistency of end product in the end and control on cost, but I do hope that we have more farmers contributing moving forward.
Yeah, that's been probably the biggest issue in this industry is just the lack of compliance. And it's business professionals like all of us on this call that are screaming from the mountaintops, like, give us rules, give us regulations. We want this.
No, right.
Because there's people making product out of their garage this day. I don't get it. I don't know how they're going to be allowed to do that, but whenever you're in an industry that I guess we're all trailblazers here, which, entrepreneurs are trailblazers, why get in when all the rules are already made? What's the fun in that? Let's make them.
You can't enter this space without a pre-existing ulcer, man, or cancer
Absolutely.
diagnosis, or mental illness.
You live through some shit.
It's a prerequisite, really.
Well, my wife was just joking with me the other day. She's like, honey, I love you, but your hairline has really gone down the last 2 years. I'm like, thanks, babe.
Your hemp line. Heart line, lifeline, hemp line.
Right.
Exactly.
Now, Josh, you guys got a nice little backstory on Hemp Nectar and kind of the meaning behind that and stuff, and I absolutely love that. Can you share that with our friends?
Yeah, so Hemp Nectar, to me, I'm a little biased. I think it's the best freaking name in the industry because it's really the nutrients of the hemp plant. And, for us, we really wanted to have that recognizable, I would say, like, stamp of approval. And, we all know Intel inside is on computers for Dell because, it's a high-quality processor. And for us, we kind of wanted to create some consumer legitimacy in this industry.
Right.
And really, one of the best ways to do that was, again, be certified, go through all the motions. We also have an ERP system for all the track and the traceability and the barcoding. But really, I can't take all the credit for this. This is one of our board members, and, a lot of people probably know this guy. His name is Philip Williamson.
Sure.
He actually started Dickies Pants, and we all know the Dickies logo, that oval logo that's on all those old refrigerators in your garage, and all those skateboards that we grew up. But Philip, he's a marketing genius in his own right. He's actually the one that came up with, why don't we just put a bumper sticker in every pair of pants sold or every pair of shoes sold, and that's a big reason why the Dickies logo is so recognizable.
Right.
So we wanted to do something similar at Hemp Nectar, and basically he came up with what we call the Fueled by Hemp Nectar trademark. And all it is just a little bug. It's just next to the QR code on your bottle or on your label. That just if your product is fueled by Hemp Nectar, you're not getting a bunch of bullshit. It's a high quality product that was grown with no pesticides. This product's been tested by a full panel, and it's a product that is safe for your body. And our whole goal is to try to really spread the awareness of what the Fuel by Hemp Nectar means.
I think it's important because when we often talk about, if you were to meet somebody that knows nothing about hemp or cannabis and they want to get into it, now you're looking at them kind of, I'm going to use the word consumer generally speaking, like, what do they want to know? Like, does the Hemp Nectar, seal of approval speak to that?
Right.
The biggest thing about this is getting them to be educated before they go to buy something so they know what makes a quality product. It's a plant, and, cannabinoids are cannabinoids, but what makes a quality product? And Gina and I talked about this. I really like your idea of having kind of a visual authority of that on the manufacturing side, because that is huge. We talk, you can grow this yourself. So if you want to buy it, what does that look like? And you talked about making things in the garage. It can get messy.
Josh, can you talk to us a little bit about like how you source your material, your biomass, or anything? Do you work with only certain farmers? How does that look on your end?
Yeah, absolutely. And just kind of, I think the quality control side of things is so critical to this industry because very few people have that attention to detail. And, I did leave out that we have all of our internal testing on site. We have the ability to test the biomass. We have the ability to test, residual solvents through our gas chromatography. And then we actually have the ability we have our HPLC calibrated for, I think now we have 19 different cannabinoids that we can test for, which now includes Delta 6, Delta 8, and Delta 10.
Awesome.
Now that's huge when people are looking for specific things, and they don't know, what is full spectrum? What's broad spectrum? What does that entail? Like, where is
adjusting with the times?
Oh, for sure.
Exactly. And here's the only unfortunate thing about this let's just call it wonky industry is the farmers have been screwed more than anybody in this industry, and there's nothing that I want more than for the farm, because if the farmers are successful, everyone's going to be successful. And that's probably the biggest issue is, the farmers have all lost their ass, just with the amount of product that was grown. But listen, we all wish we had a crystal ball and we could predict what's going to happen in the next year or two. I personally believe that this industry is going to have a major turnaround, mainly because I think this is following the marijuana industry to a T. In 2005, 2006, when marijuana was first introduced to Colorado, everybody kind of like the hemp industry. They all jumped into it, put a bunch of money into it. Saturation occurred. Supply was above demand, and the price of a pound of marijuana dropped from $2,200 down to $800. The price
the green rush, the green rush bubble.
Yeah, and the price to cultivate a pound of marijuana was $700. So.
Right.
How's there any success there if there's only $100 margin into cultivating something? Well, it's almost gone completely the other end in the hemp industry because, as we know, like I said earlier, a pound of hemp was $40. Now it's down to 40 cents. But I think one of the major issues is there was about 100 sellers to a buyer.
Right.
And what's really happened over the last, I would say, even this last growing season, I think 1/10 of the amount of acreage was grown this past year than was grown in the first year of the Farm Bill. And
so much
I don't have the data in front of me, but I think it's going to be even half of that. I think in about 2 years from now, we're going to be starving for hemp.
Yeah.
But it's all survival until that point, unfortunately.
Yeah, getting the industrial end cooking. That's another whole end of this. Like we're barely tapping into the industrial side of this plant. You got a handful of people growing for fiber, like a handful for seed. Like this shit's crazy.
The economy needs to support, these types of, businesses coming into it. You get a business, then you get the farmers are right there to plug it, so. No, but we really do, because there's not acreage for that. It's cannabinoid content and low THC. So we do need the tall fiber.
Just from our personal team. I mean, Josh, our team. Chuck and Sadie and Ari, and you know where this is all going. Like the big money people are here. They're quiet, but they're here. They're not waiting in the woodwinks any longer. Like they're here. They got their money. They're throwing it around, and they're ready to take this plant. Josh, listen to me.
Yeah. He's like, they're here, like right here. I gotta go. There he is.
That's awesome.
I'm just waiting to there.
Hello.
We scared you away with the big money people being here.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
No, I mean, there's money moves being made. There always is money moves being made, but we're kind of at that place where it's like there's no true distribution in a lot of senses, but that's only going to be so long, and that only stays this way until we get once the money is secure to move around and you can move things like intercommerce wise, this is when the doors and the floodgates open in a much different way.
Right. And I don't know where we lost you. And I was saying, just from the talks with our own team, with Chuck and Sadie and, Arisha, where this is all going. They have hired 6 of the top 8 mass market distributors in the country. That's already happened.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There's 300,000 stores waiting for products starting third quarter. Like, people have no idea that's going on. So once this all unravels this year, can you even imagine what next year is going to look like? Like, we haven't even scratched the surface. So it's happening, it's here, and people need to get their head out of their ass. They're worried about these, the money people and the big tobacco and big pharma and big alcohol and all these people. They're here. So you should be worried about you being compliant, doing it the right way, and trying to keep your head above water.
And being a go-to person in the supply chain, right?
Yes.
A person that
instead of draining it.
No, you're an extractor, and if you can harbor the types of relationships to sustain your business and scale your business with the farmer. Like, you can't do like how we used to have to do, where every Monday you'd be calling 50 of your farmer friends, seeing what they have, where it's at, and then, you're wasting all your time trying to source, bringing in these types of contracted relationships. Both parties are vested in the relationship. We lack a lot of the services that support that, the procurement side of things. And that's even evolving in much stronger ways that makes businesses sustainable. You're right, because there's only 1 or so businesses out of 10 that are making it, and they're making better choices.
Right. And Josh, I like what you guys did at Hemp Nectar, because you're not focusing on just 1 or 2 little things. You know what I mean? Like you said, you got several different cannabinoids that you're working with, both isolated and full spectrum. And that's huge, because like we know, any of these cannabinoids can come or go any day. I mean, the laws change like we change underwear. Like D8, we're so excited about it, could be gone tomorrow. D10's the next big thing, that could be gone the next day. And I like that you're not focused on just what's the new cool thing and running with that. You've got a nice full business plan that involves the entire plant, and that's what's going to keep you going along with your integrity.
Yeah.
I think business 101 is diversify. That's what I always learned is you can never put all your eggs in one basket. And,
right.
Especially when you're dealing with true medicine, to me, it's so exciting because no 2 days are the same. And
right.
all this, there's really data that's coming out every day of how certain cannabinoids are beneficial for certain conditions. And to me, that's what gets me excited to come to work every day, is just knowing that I'm personally impacting people the same way that I was impacted in a positive way.
That is what it's all about, Josh. We say that all the time. Like, if we've taught you anything, if you learned anything, pass that on. Teach one more person. Tell anybody.
I mean, you literally can save a life. You know what I mean?
Yep.
By just having that conversation. I used to be really icky about that when I long time ago.
In Washington.
Right. I had a little bit of a criminal druggy history, and it was very scary to me, because I thought, God, if anything like that happened, like I lose a lot. There's no stuff, putting something in the mail for me or whatever. But Gina, it's not just words, you know what I mean? It is actions, and sometimes you have to, do things for the greater good, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Josh, you have a personal story, but those stories are endless. We were in Washington 2 years. We grew cannabis, and we were caregivers, and the stories were endless. The hospice patients that walked out of hospice to vacation. Those are not just hopes and dreams. Those are real stories from real people that I watched happen. And people, we need to scream it from the rooftops, because people don't understand. And we're not talking about going out and smoking a joint to cure your cancer. That's going to help you with some pain and some stress and anxiety and whatever. Smoke if you want to smoke, but we are talking about ingesting oil for the medicinal benefit of this plant. And it's crucial to our overall well-being. And that's on a daily basis as a supplement. We need this plant in our body.
Yeah, and I don't want to get off on politics here, because we all know what politics has done for our country the last few years.
Right.
I just don't really trust our governments.
No.
They don't want natural medicine. They want to keep pushing big pharma. And to me, that is so infuriating.
Yeah.
Just knowing that it's us on the right side of the fence that are being affected by this. And I even have my investors and even my family what are you doing in this industry? There's no money to be made. But I also do believe if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life.
Absolutely.
And success will always follow you if you believe in what you do.
Absolutely.
It's really hard to ask someone that survived a sentence like you got, stage 4 cancer, and ask them, why are you living like this? I guess when you're down at the, spot where, all you really have is up, you really can do something meaningful with your life from that point forward, Well,
it's so powerful when you have a story like yours. You're not just the guy that read it online or heard it from a friend. This was your life. This was your family went through this with you. That. Yeah. That is a moving, emotional experience that, people need to listen to and take into account. You know, maybe someone hears this podcast and it changes their life, like it changed yours. So we don't know.
You were talking about the FDA and the government and this big stroke off, you know. I mean, if we look at why the FDA was created in the first place, it's, you know, in the labeling laws that basically birthed it through our government. If the job was for consumer safety and oversight, right, and consumers, how they're marketed to, and, you know, there are no magic cures and pills and all that fun stuff. You're right, because like right now, cannabis doesn't fit in that narrative, right? They don't have, they got 80 plus years of anecdotal evidence. They've got a lot of studies. A lot of studies don't focus on the good. A lot of studies focus on the harm. Right. And we built off of that moving forward. And now you start to see the studies, the volume of money going into the NIH for cannabinoid therapies. And that's huge. Right. What does that look like down the road for existing companies and business owners? Our current model says if you want to treat, cure, prevent anything, you got a new drug application, you've got your own trials, you've got your patents, and you're moving forward with it. Are we going to see a reinvention for cannabis in this space, or is it going to have to shift into that, like where Marinol went and where the CBD one, Elixir or whatever. Right. What do you think? Where's this going?
Oh, I think I'd be very rich if I could predict, right?
Right.
Well, you know, I wish I could predict it, but really even more so, I hope it goes the right direction. I think more importantly, as long as we keep, you know, doing the right things, good things are going to follow good people. That's really what it comes down to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the education, like all of us getting the education behind that plant. We're not just selling products, we're selling education that goes with those products, so you know why you need those products and which product you should actually be trying. And that's crucial to all of this. And, you know, Lo and I talk about this all the time, but until I got more active with hemp and cannabis on LinkedIn, I really was oblivious to what the average person knew about this plant. I mean, for 10 years, I'm preaching to the choir. It's Facebook and it's, you know, all, you know, hemp groups and cannabis groups and growers and extractors and product people. So we're talking to each other,
right.
You know, and then you get onto LinkedIn, then you talk about something like hemp for paper or hemp for plastic, and people lose their fucking mind. Like the messages are endless. You know, I'll put up a poll and it'll get 10,000 views in a day, and people can't vote and comment fast enough because they can't believe what they're reading. They have no idea, Josh. So
how the fuck did that happen? I mean, like, how?
It's insane.
Wow.
Yeah, it's frustrating too.
Just basic nutrition, like none of it. It's all foreign to them. So we have a lot of work to do. Shit's gonna take forever.
Shit's gonna take forever. Don't forget.
Shit's gonna take forever.
It always leaves me. It's like there's not enough days in the week. There's not enough hours in the day, but, you know, we still try to manage.
That's what we do. That's what we do. Okay, before we let you go, are you up for some get to know Josh from Hemp Nectar questions?
Yeah, absolutely. As long as you're not too intrusive, and you know what I mean, still answer it.
I will not ask what you're wearing.
In your rules, Josh.
All in good fun, right? All in good fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, number one, are you an early bird or a late riser?
Oh, my wife would know that answer. I'm totally an early bird.
Awesome. Are you still sleeping when you get up?
Yeah, my wife's like, she's like, do not wake me up before 9 a.m. on the weekend. So that's just one of those things. I've played sports my whole life. I will admit I don't work out like I should be, but, you know, there's nothing better than waking up in the morning and watching the sunrise, having your cup of coffee. I don't really need a lot of sleep, to be frank. You can probably tell I'm just an energy guy. I just kind of, I'm always going.
Yeah. Awesome. Love it.
Love it. All right. Let's see here. How do you prefer to start your day?
How do I prefer to start my day? Mm-hmm. Well, quietly, because I have 3 kids. So maybe just
don't wake them up, man, for your me time.
Maybe just secretly, I just kind of like having a little bit of alone time.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost kind of like me. I started this company from Texas, and I'm just an entrepreneur, and I was traveling back and forth, and I'm from Colorado, and for me, it's just therapeutic because I right now I'm the opposite of everyone else with COVID, where everyone's working from home. I have an hour drive to work to and from every single day, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It's therapeutic to me. It's quiet. It's my time. I get to myself.
When I was working in hospitality industry, I would literally like take the longest way home I possibly could, or on the way there, just for like the headspace, like to decompress before you went to your next job, like at home,
Yeah, your music and the fresh air, and I like that too.
For an hour.
And then you add 3 kids to the mix, and you really take the long ride.
We have one each, and we're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, we can't handle one.
They're together because that makes 2 kids.
Exactly.
How old are yours, Josh?
My oldest is 9. I've got a daughter that's 6. I say 6 going on 16, and then I just turned 40, and I waited to go back to the well, so I have a 2.5-year-old. Keeps me up.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, ours are 8s. They're crazy 8s.
Yeah, again, 8 going on 18 for sure. Okay, if you could have a vacation and go anywhere, where would you go? You and wifey, no kids, kid-free vacation.
Just out of college.
I've only been to Jamaica once, and I just absolutely loved it. And I think it's just because they love Americans there. They just
really
treat
do.
you so good.
Yeah.
The weed sucks, so I definitely didn't go there for the weed. But it was awesome.
It's in every song.
But it's everywhere.
I could totally do Jamaica again.
Great answer, us too.
But I got
there twice, married there, incredible.
I had a pocket full of cannabis before I even got on the bus. It was like as soon as I walked out the gate to the curb and put the thing, there was a guy and he kept putting my hand on his packet, And I was like, just feel how big the sack was. Yeah. Well, oh yeah. All right. What's the first job you ever had?
You can probably guess it was in sales. So I don't know if we're gonna I don't know if I start off my lemonade stand or my baseball card business. But no, my first job was actually selling pictures, Olin Mills Portrait Studio plans, and I started that job at 16 years old. And I think I was a natural because I became a manager at like 18, managing a bunch of people in their 40s. And it was just the weirdest job in the world. I was managing people twice my age. But I guess I just knew I was a natural for sales.
Very cool.
Oh, that's like glamorous shots.
Yeah.
Glamour shots. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right, last one. What is your biggest pet peeve? Is it annoying questions?
It's a rapid fire question at the end of the podcast.
What was your question? I missed that.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Oop, sorry, you cut on me again.
Biggest pet peeve. What pisses you off, Josh? What don't you like in life?
What don't I like in life?
Biggest pet peeve.
Like,
Oh, biggest pet peeve. Oh, that's so. I have 2 of them. Can I pick 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have 20.
Shitty customer service.
Yeah.
Because it just bothers me because common sense is not that common, and you'd think it would be.
It's called common sense.
So that's like 1A is shitty customer service, and then 1B is shitty attitudes.
Yes.
Mostly found in shitty customer service. Bravo. Yeah. All those front-facing jobs, like I don't know why people want to do it in the first place if they don't have the heart for service. Like you have to have a heart for service to be in a service industry or a skill that requires giving somebody service in your time.
My husband works for Capital One, and he's like a manager of like the agents or whatever. And he'll like pull up a call for me, and they'll be like cursing out the people on the line. Like he's like, how the fuck do they think they're going to keep their job? Like, why do you have this job?
Yeah,
I just can't handle it. Okay, Josh, we want to thank you so much for your time today.
Yes. Thank you, Josh.
It has been a pleasure.
Thank you, ladies.
Absolutely. We look forward to what's to come and, keep in touch, and let's get you back on in a few months and see where we're all at.
I would love to anytime.
Hopefully
Thanks
Jamaica.
again. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, ladies.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
All right. Let's
Bye-bye.
see.
Bye-bye. Oh, guys, Josh, what a nice guy. Family guy, loves his family, loves what he does, loves to help people, honest, straightforward. What more do we want, guys?
In this space, it's really hard to identify anybody that hasn't had a personal experience with cannabis.
Right.
In the world, it's like you can either be like an advocate of something or a saboteur of something. And remarkably with cannabis, when you're doing that word of mouth thing, you're always going to find more advocates and saboteurs, and thankfully, because the message needs to keep spreading, and stories like that have to be heard for sure.
Yes. So whether you are watching us or listening to us, we appreciate you. We appreciate your time, and we hope you'll join us next week on the Hempy Hour. One love.
Good job, baby. Welcome to the nation. I said, welcome to the nation.